It's so worth letting go of control of your own life, because that was my biggest fear, was like, no one else had come through for me as a kid. Everyone had disappointed me or left me or abandoned me. And so I internalized this belief of like, I have to look out for myself. I have to take care of myself. No one's gonna do it for me. My name is Asia Wall. When I was born, my mom was 19 years old. And those first few years of my life, it was just me and my mom living at my grandparents' house. It was pretty peaceful. Then she met a man at church and married him when I was 2. She got pregnant with my sister Shelly when I was about 3.5. Things started to kind of go downhill. At night, I would hear them fighting a lot. But then when I was about 8 years old, my mom really started to change. At first it was just smoking cigarettes, then it was smoking pot, then it was probably other stuff. Then when I was 9 years old, we were going on our camping trip as a family that we did every year with friends. We would go out to Tyler State Park and camp for like a week. It was great. My mom was driving our van and I was in the front seat. My sister Shelly was in the back, and apparently my mom was on something and she's driving and she lost control, and I woke up to the van like tumbling down this embankment. My sister died instantly in that wreck. After that, my parents got divorced pretty quickly because of course, my adopted dad blamed my mom, and my mom left when I was 10, and so it was just me and my adopted dad, who at this point had become pretty verbally abusive. He was very angry, and all the anger he had about losing his daughter and my mom leaving, he took it out on me. My mom was in jail for smuggling drugs. She came home when I was 12, and by that point, I was just so angry and bitter and like on a downward spiral. I was just on a path of destruction. I was doing drugs all the time. I was exposed to pornography. I was exposed to a lot of things. I just didn't care about myself. I didn't care what happened to me. Then when I was 12, I got molested by my mom's boyfriend's brother. Not long after that, I went to a party with some friends from school and I was raped. After those incidents, I just really checked out, and I was doing all the drugs I could anytime. I started sleeping around. I got into homosexual relationships because I was just full of so much anger and bitterness. I was just doing whatever I could do to like feel a semblance of control. Then finally my mom met another man, and he was actually a good man. And I remember him saying, you don't have to, but if you wanted to call me dad at any point, like you could, like that would be cool. And I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. But then the next morning on the way to work, he died in a car accident. That sent me into another tailspin and went on a coke binge for months. I was just out of my mind, not sleeping, just doing drugs all the time. And then I got pregnant at 15. I felt really alone, but that is what led me to start really pursuing Jesus, like really reaching out. So I would sit alone in my room and I would just open the Bible and just try to read it. And I would mainly read the book of Psalms. That was the first time that I really felt like I encountered his presence in a tangible way. Like he was like, I'm real, I'm here, I love you, you're my daughter. I gave birth to my son and placed him for open adoption with a really wonderful family. And God was involved in that whole process. It was very painful. I was still struggling emotionally, like I was still unhealed in a lot of areas. And then I met my husband and we got married when I was 22, got pregnant 4 months later. It brought out like all of my undealt with, buried junk. I started drinking too much. And then I met a guy through friends at a bar and we became friends, and then it developed into an emotional affair for sure. And I started to think, I'm gonna do the same thing my mom did. Like I'm gonna break up my family or I'm gonna leave. And I told Daniel, and I thought he would just leave because that's what I would have done. But he forgave me. Like he instantly was like, I love you, I forgive you. Daniel's forgiveness really showed me the heart of the Father and made me realize like God is a real person. Like, he's real and he's here with me and he loves me. He's not just distant concept or somebody who could intervene once in a while if I need a rescue, but he's actively involved in my life. And every man that's failed you as a father is not a reflection of who God is. And that broke down all the walls that I had. My identity comes from knowing that God is my father and I am his daughter. And like, not just knowing that here, but knowing that here and walking that out and seeing him continually come through for me and care for me and rescue me and heal me. The Lord is there.